All right, let's dive right into this explainer covering a really fascinating 2013 paper called Get Excited, Reappraising Pre-Performance Anxiety as Excitement. It was authored by Allison Wood-Brooks and published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology General. Listen, if you've ever felt that pit in your stomach before a huge presentation or a big test, you're going to want to pay close attention to this one. We're about to completely challenge everything you've ever been taught about handling high-pressure situations.
So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start by busting the keep calm myth, then look at arousal congruency theory. After that, we'll walk through 4 key experiments: karaoke singing, public speaking, and a couple on math. Finally, we'll wrap up with the opportunity mindset.
Okay, section 1, the keep calm myth, and why conventional wisdom completely fails us here. To kick things off, Brooks actually ran a pilot study to see what people naturally do when they're staring down a stressful event. And she noted, quote, "I find that an overwhelming majority of people believe trying to calm down is the best way to cope with pre-performance anxiety." It's true, right? The data showed over 90% of people advise themselves or their coworkers to just take a deep breath and relax. But as you're going to see, trying to force yourself to calm down is actually scientifically the wrong move. Moving right along to section 2, arousal congruency theory. Let's look at the science of high arousal. Now, this is the core psychological theory explaining exactly why calming down totally backfires. Just look at the properties of these emotions. Anxiety and excitement are what psychologists call arousal congruent. That basically means they both trigger the exact same high physical arousal. You know, the racing heart, sweaty palms, all of it. The only difference is the valence, which is basically the cognitive lens you're looking through. Anxiety is negative and uncertain. Excitement, that's positive and optimistic. Calmness, on the flip side, is a low arousal state. So think about it. When your heart is practically pounding out of your chest, trying to shift from high arousal anxiety all the way down to low arousal calmness is literally fighting your own biology. It's so much easier to just cognitively shift that high arousal anxiety straight over to high arousal excitement. All right, section 3. Experiment 1, which involves karaoke singing. To test this out, Brooks got 113 participants and actually forced them to sing Journey's Don't Stop Believing on a Nintendo Wii console, right in front of a complete stranger. Seriously, if you want to reliably induce pure pre-performance anxiety in a lab, making people sing karaoke without any background music is absolutely a foolproof way to do it. Right before they grabbed the mic, the participants were randomly assigned to these specific conditions, and this is the crucial manipulation of the whole experiment. They were forced to make a deliberate statement out loud. The experimental group had to say, "I am excited." The control groups, they either stated, "I am anxious," or they didn't say anything at all. Now, the researchers meticulously tracked both the participants' subjective feelings and their objective performance. They measured physiological arousal using wireless pulse oximeters right on their fingers. But the real stroke of genius here is how they measured performance. They actually used the Nintendo Wii's voice recognition software to objectively score singing accuracy, looking at volume, pitch, and note duration. So absolutely no human bias in the grading. And just look at the stark contrast in these results. The experimental group, the folks who simply stated "I am excited" out loud, scored an average of 80.52% accuracy. They completely blew past the anxious group, who scored just under 53%, and the neutral group at roughly 69%. Just 3 little words completely transformed their objective performance. When we look at the math, this yielded a Cohen's d effect size of 0.769 compared to the neutral group. Now, in the world of psychology, seeing an effect size of this magnitude from such a tiny intervention, literally just saying a phrase out loud, represents a highly, highly significant performance boost. It proves you can genuinely talk yourself into a better performance. Okay, let's jump to section 4, experiment 2, public speaking. For this one, participants were told they had to prep a 2 to 3 minute persuasive speech on why they'd make a good work partner. And to really turn up the heat, they were told the speech would be recorded on camera and judged by a committee of their peers. Brutal, right? Right before the cameras rolled, the control group was instructed to state, "I am calm," out loud, while the experimental group had to say, "I am excited." So let's see how this builds on the karaoke data. Blind raters, meaning people who had absolutely no clue which phrase the speakers had used, coded the speeches across a bunch of metrics. And the results are incredibly clear. The excited speakers were consistently rated as far more persuasive, competent, confident, and persistent than the people who were actively trying to calm down. The effect size on speech durations specifically was massive, a D equals 1.48. To put that into real-world terms, the participants who stated they were excited confidently spoke for an average of 167 seconds. Meanwhile, the group that tried to calm down basically threw in the towel much faster, speaking for only 132 seconds on average. So excitement didn't just make them sound better to the judges, it gave them the stamina to keep pushing through the pressure. Next up, Section 5, Experiments 3 and 4, which focus on math. In this setup, participants were thrown into what was framed as a high-stakes IQ test using really difficult modular arithmetic. This was all about isolating cognitive ability under stress. Oh, and if they got an answer wrong, they actually lost money. But here's the twist. Instead of speaking out loud this time, participants just read subtle instructions on a computer screen. The control conditions read either try to remain calm or a totally neutral please wait a few moments. The experimental condition? It simply read try to get excited. Now, the physical reality of anxiety here is just fascinating. Notice how all the lines tracking the participants' heart rates totally group together and slope upward? That proves physiological arousal is automatic. Heart rates skyrocketed and stayed high across all the groups. Basically, reading the instruction to remain calm physically did absolutely nothing. Your body just doesn't listen to the command to slow down when it thinks it's facing a threat. But check this out. Here's the magic of arousal congruency in action. Despite having the exact same high, pounding heart rate as the control groups, the group that read the subtle text try to get excited answered significantly more math questions correctly. This gave us a distinct positive effect size of 0.362. They didn't lower their physical arousal at all. They simply channeled that exact same nervous energy straight into better cognitive performance.
All right, bringing it home with Section 6, the opportunity mindset.
So why does simply saying I'm excited work like magic? Well, it all comes down to this concept right here. Reappraising your anxiety as excitement forces your brain completely out of a threat response. Think about it. When we're anxious, we hyperfocus on everything that could go wrong, right? We view the whole thing as a massive threat of failure. But excitement primes an opportunity mindset. It's a cognitive reframing where you suddenly zoom in on the potential positive outcomes and actually view the high-pressure situation as an opportunity to succeed. As Alison Wood-Brooks elegantly notes in the paper's conclusion, quote, individuals can reappraise anxiety as excitement using minimal strategies such as self-talk, which leads them to feel more excited, adopt an opportunity mindset, and improve their subsequent performance. What this so brilliantly illustrates is that misrepresenting your inner feelings, kind of faking it by saying you're excited even when you're terrified, actually quickly becomes a genuine, self-fulfilling reality. Your words literally shape your psychological state. So, I have to leave you with a question. The science unequivocally shows that just 3 simple words can completely change your physiological framing and your objective performance. The next time you're facing down a high-pressure situation, are you going to try to fight your biology and calm down? Or will you harness that racing heart and start an upward spiral by saying, I am excited? Try using that arousal to your advantage, and just see what happens to your performance.